The NHL often sits fourth in the North American Big Four conversation behind the NFL, NBA, and MLB. But when you look closer at the speed of the game, the physical toll, the structure of its rules, its competitive parity, and the sheer brutality of its playoff format, a compelling case emerges. The NHL may be the most competitive and most demanding major professional sports league in North America. In today's video, we're going to explain to you why the NHL is and will continue to dominate all the other major sports leagues. Let's dive in. The first and most obvious difference is speed. There is no other professional sport that feels like NHL hockey. The rink stretches 200 feet, and within that space, athletes accelerate to 20 to 25 miles per hour while stick handling a puck that can exceed 100 miles per hour off a slap shot. Unlike football, where the average play lasts roughly 6 seconds before a reset, or basketball, where possessions slow into half-court sets and free throw stoppages, hockey unfolds in continuous motion. Line changes happen on the fly without stopping play. A turnover at the offensive blue line can become a breakaway seconds later. There is no jogging the puck up the ice, no huddle to reorganize, and no stepping out to adjust gloves. The flow is relentless. That pace compresses reaction time and magnifies every mistake. The speed alone makes the NHL product uniquely intense compared to the more segmented rhythms of the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Layered on top of that speed is a level of physicality unmatched in the other major leagues. The NFL is undeniably violent, but it is structured violence. Collisions followed by whistles and resets. In the NHL, contact is continuous and cumulative. Body checks along the boards, open ice hits at full speed, shot blocks off unprotected ankles, and net front battles that resemble wrestling matches are routine parts of every game. During the Stanley Cup playoffs, that physicality escalates. Injury reports released after playoff runs routinely reveal players competing with fractured ribs, torn ligaments, separated shoulders, and broken bones. Unlike the NBA's era of load management or baseball's strategic rest days, playoff hockey demands repeated shifts every minute or so across a full 60-minute game, sometimes far longer if overtime extends deep into the night. The NHL remains the only major North American league where fighting is formally embedded within the rulebook as a penalized but accepted part of the game's ecosystem. That physical edge adds emotional stakes and raw intensity that few other leagues can replicate. The structure of hockey's rules also contributes to its unpredictability. Modern NBA games often hinge on three-point efficiency and foul drawing, and NFL outcomes frequently correlate strongly with quarterback play and halftime leads. In Major League Baseball, elite pitching rotations can tilt entire playoff series. Hockey, by contrast, lives in the margins of chaos. A puck can deflect off a shin pad, ricochet off the glass, or slip through a screen and suddenly erase a multi-goal lead. Statistical trends show that in both the NBA and NFL, teams leading late in games win at high rates, often close to 80% when ahead after 3 quarters or halftime. In the NHL, 2-goal comebacks in the third period are common. Pulled goalies create 6-on-5 pressure situations. A single power play can completely shift momentum. Because superstars rotate in short shifts rather than playing uninterrupted minutes, no single player can fully dictate the entire flow of a game. Critics often argue that the NHL trails the other leagues in popularity, particularly in the United States. It's true that the NFL dominates American television, with the Super Bowl regularly surpassing 100 million viewers domestically. The NBA commands enormous global cultural influence, and MLB carries generational tradition in American sports history. However, the NHL's growth trajectory since the 2004-05 lockout tells a different story than the fourth-place league narrative suggests. League revenues have expanded from roughly $2 billion annually in the mid-2000s to more than $6 billion in recent seasons. Expansion franchises have commanded enormous entry fees, with the Vegas Golden Knights joining for $500 million in 2017 and the Seattle Kraken entering for $650 million in 2021. Those valuations signal confidence in long-term growth. Youth hockey participation has expanded in non-traditional markets, such as Nevada and Florida, and playoff television ratings often spike dramatically as casual viewers are drawn into the sport's intensity. The NHL may not rely on celebrity branding in the same way as the NBA, but its product-driven appeal has proven resilient and steadily expanding. Where the NHL truly separates itself from the NBA, NFL, and MLB is in parity. Since the introduction of the hard salary cap in 2005, the league has experienced a rotating cast of contenders and champions. Unlike the NBA, which has been defined by multi-year dynasties such as the Lakers, Spurs, Heat, and Warriors, the NHL rarely allows one franchise to monopolize an era. Unlike MLB, where financial powerhouses can consistently outspend competitors, the NHL's cap structure strictly limits roster spending. Every dollar allocated to one player is a dollar unavailable elsewhere. Teams cannot simply buy depth. They must draft, develop, and manage contracts carefully. Depth, in fact, is essential. A single elite first line cannot carry a team to a championship without contributions from the third line, reliable defensive pairings, strong special team units, and elite goaltending. This structure creates competitive balance, and competitive balance creates unpredictability. In the NHL, President's Trophy winners, the best regular season teams, frequently fall in early playoff rounds. Lower-seeded and wildcard teams regularly advance deep into the postseason. That volatility is not a weakness. It is evidence of a league where margins are thin and opportunity is real. The Stanley Cup playoffs themselves form the heart of the argument that the NHL stands apart. To win the Super Bowl, a team must capture 3 or 4 postseason victories. The NBA requires 16 playoff wins, but typically those victories are powered by concentrated star minutes and top-heavy rosters. The NHL demands 16 wins as well, but earned through 4 best-of-7 series played in full-contact conditions over roughly 2 months. There are no shootouts in the playoffs. If a game is tied, it proceeds to sudden death overtime at 5-on-5 until someone scores. That format has produced marathon contests stretching into double and triple overtime, sometimes concluding near midnight after starting in prime time. Each series becomes a chess match of adjustments. Opponents meet up to 7 times, targeting weaknesses and escalating physical pressure. Players do not simply endure a single elimination moment. They endure a sustained war of attrition. This sustained grind is what makes the Stanley Cup arguably the hardest championship trophy to win. Success requires durable goaltending across potentially 28 playoff games. It requires disciplined special teams. It requires secondary scoring and defensive reliability. It requires emotional resilience after overtime losses and physical recovery between bruising contests. The trophy itself carries unmatched symbolism. Rather than a new version produced annually, the Stanley Cup is the same historic chalice passed from champion to champion for more than a century. Every player's name is engraved upon it. That permanence reinforces the magnitude of the accomplishment. When players lift the cup, the emotion often reflects exhaustion as much as triumph. They have not simply won, they have survived. Another distinguishing element of the NHL lies in its culture. The NBA frequently markets individual icons. The NFL elevates quarterbacks to celebrity status, and MLB celebrates record-breaking individual achievements. Hockey culture, by contrast, emphasizes the crest on the front of the jersey over the name on the back. Post-game interviews routinely redirect praise toward teammates. Even the league's brightest stars operate within a rotational system that prevents them from dominating every minute of play. That cultural humility reinforces the sport's team-first identity and aligns with its competitive structure, where contributions from all 4 lines and defensive pairings are essential. When all of these elements are considered together, the unmatched speed, the continuous physicality, the volatility of puck bounces, the financial discipline of a hard salary cap, the depth required to compete, and the 2-month playoff gauntlet, a powerful case emerges. The NHL may not generate the highest American television ratings, nor the largest individual endorsement deals, but it produces one of the purest competitive environments in professional sports. There are no shortcuts to a Stanley Cup. There are no guaranteed dynasties insulated by financial muscle alone. Every spring begins with 16 teams believing they have a chance. Every summer ends with one team that has endured the most grueling championship path in North American sports. So, what is the best sports league in North America when we measure not just popularity, but physical toll, competitive balance, and the structure of the championship journey? Does any league really rival the NHL? And if winning the Stanley Cup requires surviving the most punishing playoff format in professional sports, shouldn't that make it the ultimate prize? Let us know what you think. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more.